Once upon a time, a son took whatever he could and walked out on his father and family. He went the way that seemed right to him, and before long, he was at the door of destruction when reason rose above folly to remind him that no matter whatever wrong he had done, he was still a son. No matter how far he had strayed, things were still way better in the father's house than in the enemy's camp. This young man felt miserable, but he did not allow regret or the shame of his abominable actions hold him back. One day, he rose up and began to retrace his way back home. He wasn't sure if he would still be accepted, but the risk was worth taking than remaining in his depraved estate. Disheveled and unrecognizable, he made his way home. When his father saw him a long way off, the father ran, covering the rest of the way to embrace the son who was struggling with fear, doubt, and rejection because of his actions. Not only did the father recognize him when no one else could, this father was too happy that his estranged son had come home to be ashamed of how he looked. The father threw open the doors for the young man and received him home with open arms. This happy father threw a lavish welcome home party for a son that once was lost but now is found, home and safe. Till today, that remains the father's attitude toward every son that has strayed away from home. The world may have called you names: foolish son, wasteful son, useless son, son of nobody, prodigal son, but not the Father. Our Father does not call you names like the world. Instead, he calls you son, loved, chosen, royal, holy, blameless, priceless. When the world looks at you as a wasteful son, God sees you as a treasured vessel, worth sacrificing every other thing to save, to rescue, and to protect. When the world says you are undeserving of anything good, God lavishes his love on you because he considers you precious and worthy. Instead of allowing the names the world is calling you today to drive you farther away from God, why not let the names God calls you draw you closer to him today? He is such a good father. If you look back, it may seem like you have been alone on those journeys you took to wherever. But guess what? God walked every step with you because he promised that he will never leave nor forsake you, that he will be with you to the end. This faithful God is our God, and he will be our guide from now even unto the end. Had God not been with you, you wouldn't have made it out of there. And he saved you not to lose you. He saved you that you may be saved. Now he is reaching to heal you, that you may be truly healed and delivered. God has been for you even when you were against him. God has been with you even when you deserted him. God has been following you every step of the way, loving on you, shielding you from what would have taken you out, waiting for the moment when you will notice that immense love in the Father's heart for you and turn toward him for redemption and restoration. God is not stalking you. He is following you with his love so that whenever you choose to turn toward him, he is right there with you, right there for you, right there by you, every way with you. Do you know why there are many rebellious sons out there today? Because many have alienated themselves from experiencing God as their Father. It is hard to give what you don't have. It is hard to father others like God when you have not allowed yourself to be fathered by God. Our ways are flawed. His ways are perfect. Only the good father can teach you to be a good father. Only God can teach you to father like him. Otherwise, your fathering is as flawed as you and your ways are, and will likely create more prodigal sons than you would want to. But if you can turn toward God today and let him father you, you will be sons who can father others in the ways God has fathered you. Will you turn to God today and let him father you? He's waiting for you to give him permission. He's a gentle God who has given us the power to choose. God respects our choices even when they go contrary to his ways because he gave us that power. He's not the enemy who stalks, barges in and claims what is not his. God will wait until you invite him to father you as his son. Today, he is standing at the door of your heart. Will you open the door and let him come in and father you like you have never been fathered before? In case you're wondering what is wrong with the younger generation, they are being run off the faith because they are being fathered by fathers who are pursuing God as religion and tradition instead of relationship. They are being fathered by fathers who do not know how to father because they have not submitted to the fatherhood of God. They are being raised by men who do not have father-son relationship with God. So instead of passing on the father-son culture to the next generation, they are hitting younger ones on the head with rules of do's and don'ts. Anyone that many of them can't wait to get away from home and have nothing to do with church anymore. Religion is boring, tradition is tiring, but relationship is inspiring, awakening, renewing, refreshing, and most importantly, it is adventurous, and we all love adventures, every one of us. Fathers, will you allow God to father you today so you can learn from the best father on how to father faithful sons to honorable men? It's time to rescue the younger generation. And to reach them, God has to reach you. God is calling you. Yes, you and you and you. Guess what God is doing today? He is turning the hearts of fathers to their sons and the hearts of sons to their fathers. God is calling prodigal sons to return home. It doesn't matter whatever you have done. It doesn't matter how long you have done it. And it doesn't matter how far you have strayed from home. Time up. It's time to get up and come as you are, back into the Father's arms. The God who couldn't withhold his only begotten Son from us. The God who loved us so much, he chose to sacrifice that only Son of his for our salvation. Is calling your name. God is calling you to come back home. If he couldn't hold back his Son from us, God is holding back nothing from you. He's actually saying to you today, don't worry about what you eat or drink or about what you wear. Life is much more than food and drink and clothes because man does not live by them, but by every word I speak. If you doubt it, look out in the fields, the plants. They don't sweat to live. I take care of them. How much more you? Everyone else out there is struggling for these things. Some are cheating and killing for it. But you don't have to. I have given you all that pertains to life and godliness. It is my good pleasure to give you the kingdom. If you will seek the kingdom above all else, you will gain it. And I will throw in all these other things as a bonus. Man does not live by all he amasses on earth, but by every word that proceeds from God. Today is the day for wayward sons. God is saying, my son, hear the instruction of your father and do not forsake the law of your mother, for there will be a gracious ornament on your head and chains about your neck. In a world where everyone is chasing all kinds of fancies, at a time when the majority are pursuing their pleasures, wise men still leave all they have behind to follow the star that leads to the Messiah. This is just another part of this burning message, from the loving heart of a caring father to the wounded hearts of sons who no longer know what it means to be sons and men. This generation needs you. Our children need to be fathered. Our sons need to learn the ways of manhood from men who know. Feel free to share this with family and friends. And don't forget that you are a star and it's your time to shine.